It was exhilarating. It was so, I can't even think of a word to explain it. It was different. My dad has never gotten a first place ribs, but he's gotten second place. But for me to get first place, it was like a dream.
Welcome to the Pitmasters Podcast. I'm Rusty Monson.
I'm Anthony Lujan.
And on this episode, we have Haley Creaky from Smokin Hot Babe BBQ. She's a 16-year-old barbecue cook. Despite being her first year on the circuit, she's got some pretty impressive wins. So we'll chat with her and her journey into competition and more. So let's go. Okay, so we're back from our little holiday break. Yes. And I want to remind you all that you can still find us on social media like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Just search for the Pitmasters Podcast, and that should do the trick. We're in almost all the podcast forums. I guess there's like 4,000 of them. I didn't know that.
That's a lot.
There are actually 40,000.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. So I can't keep track of them all. But if you find one we're not on, let us know. We still have people rolling in saying, I'm trying to get you on blank, and it's not there. So we're always adding to it. So Again, let us know, because there's 40,000. That's a lot. All right, man. So we're back from break. Yep. It's been a minute. We should recap a couple of things, because it's been kind of a crazy competition. Couple weeks. Yeah.
You've hammered 2 out so far at the start of the season. You went down to Phoenix, and then we both met up in St. George for the Red Rock.
Yeah, we went to Arizona, the Stampede down there. There was a whole bunch of teams. Johnny Trigg was there. I mean, it was, we were right next to Luton Booty and Iowa Smoky D's and friggin' Burning and Luton. And it was like, oh man, right. It was like a murderer's row we're next to. And it turned out that way. So we tried this A9 brisket.
Okay.
Yes. And it was so good. And we got 37th place in brisket.
Wow.
37th.
Ouch.
Yeah, we did pretty well, and at least decent. We did like 17th and everything else. It wasn't bad. I mean, it's not great. Getting 17th is never great, but man, 37th in brisket. That was bad. It's a cool competition, although Arizona was really cold. I was like getting down there. I think I brought pants last minute, thinking, who knows? And I'm thank God, because
the deserts drop quick. People forget about that.
Well, in the morning it was like really cold, and that was surprising. And it rained a lot. And it was funny because right where we were is where all the water drained in. Oh. So it was a huge water pool right in the middle of our little site there. Man. Even more, we need to get a freaking trailer, which is in the works. So, but it was a really, really fun comp. It was cool. We didn't really get a chat with a lot of people because, I don't know, it just didn't work out that way.
Right.
Well, we tried to get out and talk, but 37th brisket was really rough. We used the A9 again, but we'll have a redemption story on the A9 in just a second. To be honest, a lot of those guys down there that usually do good on brisket didn't. So maybe they just don't like brisket in Arizona.
Yep. So you just put your tails between your legs, packed it up, came back to Salt Lake,
and then flipped right around, and went down to St. George.
Yeah, that was cool. That's where we competed together for the first time as the Pitmasters Podcast.
That's right.
Yeah, that was fun. It was that event was small but fun. We had 12 teams to start at the Cooks meeting. When we walked out of the Cooks meeting, we had 15. We've had teams break up, including yourself. Yep. You one of your team members said, "Hey, I'm going to do this myself so we can make this a sanctioned event," because it was a first year KCBS event. And that was awesome. Jared got some calls on his own. It was awesome. Everything was on the fly. It was freaking awesome.
That was crazy because, a lot of rumors were swirling about that comp. And I heard at one point there was 25 teams, which is great for a Utah competition. And turns out that wasn't the case. No. There was 13. One person dropped out. It was 14. 2 people dropped out last minute. And so we were down to 12. And there was talk about splitting up at first, but then it got to 12. Like, nah.
No, that's not going to happen.
So the funny thing is, the rumor, so I get a call from Matt from Crooked Pigs, and Crooked Pig says, oh, you got Getting Basted here, you got Burning Luton, you got Four Legs
Heavy
Up,
hitters.
You got
Heavy hitters.
Utah barbecue companies down
Girls
there.
Can Grill.
Girls Can Grills down there. I mean, all of a sudden, it's looking like, there's 12 teams, but almost every single one of them are on that top 100 KCBS list.
Exactly.
And I'm like, oh, crap, here we go. So in the cooks meeting, Smitty brought up, he's like, let's just, see if we can, if some teams want to try and cook and just enter last minute.
Yeah.
So Brad's wife, Sarah, she split off. We were able to bring down a couple drums, so we were able to give them a gateway. So Sarah competed. Jared split off.
Yes.
He was so excited. There is a team out there called Uncultured Swine, but we didn't know that. And we had to come up with this name, Uncultured Swine, that Jared just loves so much that he's actually threatened to leave the team just to be able to call himself Uncultured Swine. So he split off. 4 legs up split off. And we were able to get everyone. We did a Costco run, and everyone just kind of came together to make a qualifier event, which was super cool. So it was a qualifier. And the funny thing is those teams like Jared and Uncultured Swine and her, she like Down Street Barbecue.
Down Street Barbecue Grill.
Yeah. She killed it. I mean, they tried.
Yeah.
And they really gave it their all. And she ended up getting Reserve Grand Champion.
Yeah, she did.
And Jared got some real good calls in chicken.
Yeah.
And, what else? I think it was brisket. But I was surprised. I was like, hell yeah, go guys. And Jared was just over the moon, man. So, and he did his own thing. He did use some stuff that we had, but he was really just like, man, let me try this and try this. And
it was a good opportunity to run a test, honestly, too, on that end, too, for other teams. Like, hey, I'm here. We split up. Let's just run some tests. And Jared did well. He threw some stuff together and he smashed.
Yeah.
And also, not just the teams were on point. They were, like Rusty said, they were heavy hitters in the team, but the judges were not nice at all either. We didn't have one team that hit 700.
Yeah.
Not one team. So the judges were extremely tough too. So it was just an all around tough competition.
Yep. It was.
Unfortunately, I didn't win. Rusty didn't win, but Rusty beat me.
Yeah, I did. And I just want you guys to know out there in podcast land, that's going to always be the case.
No.
So for any reason you guys are out there being like, hey, I want to put a wager on the Pitmasters podcast, cooks, who does better, Salt City Barbecue or Smoke Ain't No Joke? Just you know where to put the money. You know you put your money.
I don't know, man. Hey.
You beat me in pork, though.
Yes. I should always beat you in pork.
I don't think so. I don't know what happened there.
Pork's my jam, for sure. My pork box was amazing. My pork box was amazing. That's probably
everything looked really good.
The best pork box that we put together.
We had a lot of help with Crooked Pigs on our chicken, so our chicken boxes are looking a whole lot better. He does. His tips have been great. Dave Hansen of Crooked Pigs really helped us out a lot. I mean, if you go through our boxes, we're not good at boxes. I'm not going to say that we are. It's never been our focus. Yeah. However, we've gotten a lot better on chicken.
Well, actually, it showed at that competition, like Jared. Once again, back to Jared's box. He's
on Salt City Barbecue.
Yeah. He didn't garnish. He just put it in the box.
He did.
It proves the point right there. You don't need garnish.
Well, look at his appearance scores, though. They're atrocious. And by the way, all you KCBS judges out there, you're not supposed to judge on the garnish. On the garnish.
But Stop it. He went garnish free and he top 10'd everything except for brisket, right?
Brisket and pork.
Brisket and pork. Okay.
I actually think it was ribs and chicken he did well in.
Yeah.
And brisket did all right. He didn't do very well in pork, but none of us did.
Yeah.
As far as our team goes. But it just goes to show you guys that appearance score doesn't matter that much.
Yeah.
I think it does more in SCA, but not in KCBS, man. So that's what our focus has always been. If it doesn't look good, great. I'd rather just serve a better meat.
And just a quick little plug on the SCA. If you are within the Utah area, we are bringing 6 competitions to the Utah area this summer. So be looking out for that.
Yeah, and there's going to be a qualifier. So there'll be an award ceremony at the end. So there'll be 6 competitions, and you have to enter at least 4 to qualify. But at the end of the year, you'll be able to get an award.
Yep.
If you win. So next up for us, Salt City Barbecue, we're heading down to Bullhead City. As usual, I did an SCA event. There's an SCA event before.
Yep.
I'm doing that. Doing the KCBS event the next day. And I always do this, but I don't know why, but I always enter ancillaries and regret it always.
Yeah.
So we're doing appetizers and sausage.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't know. I wish I wouldn't. I wish I'd just go down and chill. It's cool because we actually got an Airbnb literally right across the street.
Oh, nice.
So we have a house right there. So that's nice.
With the SCA, can you prepare all that stuff in the home, make it a little easier?
The SCA, the steak, no. We don't have. It's the ancillaries aren't for the SCA.
Oh,
it's for the KCBS.
Oh, for the KCBS, so you have to do it on location.
Right. So that's that, and that'll be fun.
Sweet.
There's like 65 teams.
Yeah, dude. I'm pulling for you. I think we have 3 Utah teams heading that way.
If you count Crooked Pigs as a Utah team,
yeah, they are.
Jaeger Q, Utah Barbecue Company, us, and
so 4
Crooked teams. Yeah, Crooked Pigs 4. So we 4 teams from Utah represented.
Nice.
All right, well, let's get on to our guest here.
Well, we have an awesome guest today.
So I was talking to Brandon from a place called Pork Chops and Bubba's down in California. I think he runs a restaurant down there. He also does some competitive barbecue. Really good dude. Chat with him a little bit. He talked to me about Haley, who's a 16-year-old cook, who's just coming up on the scene, but actually doing pretty well. Right. And so we're just chilling, and we're getting hammered. Salt City Barbecue is just getting hammered, and she takes a first place rib. I mean, right. Over Johnny Trigg, all these guys comes in and just ruins them.
Right.
So looking back on her stuff, like she did really well with brisket. She got a call. So she only done 2 KCBS ones, and they're big ones.
Yeah.
One's she got a 5th place call on brisket, and the other one was a 1st place call on ribs. So
nice.
I thought it was interesting because you don't really see young people doing barbecue a lot, especially that young. So I thought it'd be cool to bring her on, chat with her, and maybe hopefully she can give me advice on what I can do to help get my daughter into barbecue. Because if my daughters get into barbecue or Saints or Jazz fans, I feel like I've done a good job as a dad.
Yeah.
Anyone
on your side, but maybe I'd have to disagree on the Satan side, but
maybe if they're Saints fans and love barbecue.
Yeah.
Wow. I'd write a book on parenting.
No, it's really cool too. And I'm on the same end with my son, he's 14 and I told him we have 6 competitions this year in the SEA and he's hyped.
Nice, dude.
So
yeah, did you get him a grill yet?
No.
Come on.
I asked him if he wanted one and he's like, oh, I'll just use yours. So now it kind of gives me an excuse. Well, I need a new one now.
Heard that.
Yeah.
All right. We're going to bring Haley on, guys. So we'll introduce her right now.
Cool.
Hi, Haley. You there?
Yes, I am.
Awesome. Well, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you like to do?
I was born in Arizona, Chandler, and we moved out to California. We moved all over when I was a kid, but I loved Arizona, but being here in California and experiencing new things, I thought it was great. So,
and you don't have to cook on the sidewalks as well, right? You can actually walk outside.
Yeah.
Yes, I can walk outside.
That's a terrible place down there in Arizona in the summertime. It's terrible. Cool. So you moved to California. And what got you? So, you're a young person getting into barbecue. It's a very rare thing. Not a lot of people. I mean, I want to say the youngest person I know, maybe in their late 20s. I'm just
on the
professional side.
Yeah. I don't know.
Maybe 30s. So it's an extremely rare to have a young person on the KCBS tour or circuit. And so what decided you to get you? I mean, other 16-year-olds are out there doing other 16-year-old things, and you're out there freaking barbecuing, and you're barbecuing with some of the best barbecue teams in the world, and you're beating them.
Yes,
in certain categories. What got you interested in competitive barbecue?
Well, I've been with my dad and helping him with his barbecue, and just like getting him some stuff and like running boxes, that type of thing. But I've always liked it, and my dad suggested if I wanted to do a team this year, and so I told him and he got everything I needed, put me in the KCBS circuit, and I did backyard comps at first. I did kids SKUs, and then finally this past year I gotten into the big competitions with Big Papa, Simply Marvelous, Brandon with Pork Chop and Bubba's, just all these different teams that have been doing this for years. And it was just an exciting thing that I could experience.
Very nice. So just curious, how long has your dad been on the competitive side?
About 5 years.
So you've been pretty much since you're 10 years old, you've been in seeing the competition side of everything.
Definitely.
Nice.
And what about your backyards? How many of you entered there? Did you take any GCs?
I did take a GC. I got a small, like it was heavy. It was this small smoker. You can cook on it, and they even have a little fire pit and grates in there. But it was this big trophy that I had gotten at my first barbecue competition, where I got grand champion, and that's how I got my first sponsor with Brandon Pork Chop and Bubba's.
Wow,
nice.
Yeah, that's great. And you got a couple of gateways, right? Is that what you're cooking on? You're cooking on gateways, correct?
I have 4 gateways.
Yeah, I'm checking them out. I'm looking at them right now on social media. They're bright blue. They're pretty sweet looking.
Yeah, they are cool.
Mm-hmm.
So do you cook all meats on those, on all of the gateways?
Yes.
What kind of charcoal do you use? Because everyone knows I'm into charcoal, so I always ask that.
I use Jealous Devil's lump charcoal, and then I'll put in a chimney and some briquettes from Royal Oak, and I'll put those in there to stoke the fire.
That's interesting.
Nice.
I have some Fogo, and I was thinking about doing that, but I've never done it before.
I've never used this Jealous Dave stuff.
Jealous Dave?
Or whatever it is. Yeah.
Dave's a very jealous person.
Yeah.
It's Jealous Devil.
Devil. Yeah, my bad. But I've never used that before. Where's that out of? Does anybody know?
No, I do know a lot of Arizona teams use it though.
Okay, so it's kind of regional. It's charcoal there, I guess. I don't know.
So what got you into Jealous Devil?
Yeah, Jealous Devil.
Well, my dad had told me about this lump charcoal that he wanted me to use, and the thing is, you can bring one bag to a comp and it lasts you the comp, even if you have a bunch of smokers, because the charcoal lumps are so big, you don't have to use that much.
Nice.
I heard it burns really hot too. I think that's one of the things I hear a lot about people telling me, why they use it is because it burns so hot.
Yeah.
So that's
it'll keep your smoker up to temp.
Nice. So tell me a little bit about your first competition. You're packing up your stuff. You show up to the competition. What are you thinking at that moment? What was going through your mind?
Well, when my dad had suggested me going to that comp, I thought it would be good for me a good chance for me to run for Rookie of the Year with that first competition. And so I went to that competition. My dad had told me everyone, who was all going to be there. I was nervous, and I knew what I was doing, but it was kind of whenever you're nervous, everything goes blank in your mind and you have no clue which way you're turning.
Right. I still do that. Nice.
So far it was fun.
So you went in there, did extremely well, and then you competed how many backyard competitions before you decided to go pro?
I've competed in about 5 or 6 backyard competitions.
Okay. And you did pretty well at most of those, correct?
Yeah.
Nice.
So let's go from there. So you got a first place ribs in the Arizona Stampede just recently. That's where I was at. And a 5th place brisket. What is that? I mean, first of all, I want to know what it's like for someone like me, because I never done that. So what's that like to come into a competition of 65 people, or not 65, but 40, there's about 45 people there, and beat the likes of Johnny Trigg and all Legends. Those guys? How did that feel?
It was exhilarating. It was so, I can't even think of a word to explain it. It was different. My dad has never gotten the first place ribs, but he's gotten 2nd place. But for me to get first place, it was like a dream.
I bet, yeah.
That was crazy. What were you thinking? You're like, oh, well, they're calling 3rd and 2nd, and you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, so I figured I wasn't going to get it. And then finally, when they said first place ribs and they said my team name, I was frozen for a minute and I couldn't stand. And everyone else around me was congratulating me, and I'm like, oh my goodness. what is going on?
That must have been the same. Yeah. You felt in harmony when you won 5th in brisket too, right? That was your first competition ever. Or it's KCBS.
KCBS.
Right? Yeah. Well, Kelly, one of the KCBS reps, he was up there saying the names of the teams that are winning and bringing them up. And he got to 5th place brisket, and he had stopped, and he said, this was a first-time team. And there was another first-time team there, but everyone around me already knew it was me. So one of the teams that we know, nothing to it but to cue it, Brian, he had pat me on the back and said, good job. And Kelly hadn't even said my name yet. And then he said that I was 15 years old, because I was then. And like my whole family just started hooting and hollering. And everyone else that I knew was doing that too. Even people that I didn't know that I had talked to before awards. And when he said my name, I started walking up, and the lady that was in charge of everything, she had said she was so happy that it was me that got 5th place in brisket.
That's awesome. That's way awesome.
That brisket must have been amazing. I've seen some pictures of it, and it looked perfect. It looked like it was cooked perfect.
Thing is, your first comp though, Smokin' Ribs Harmony, you took 14th out of 26 people. I mean, that's really good for a first KCBS comp. I mean, I know tons of teams in their first comp that take, man, they're hoping they're not last, and they're close. They're really close to it. Yeah. So 14s are really good for your first competition ever. That's awesome.
So now you just turned 16. You can throw your own grill in your own trailer and bounce. You don't need Dad to drive you no more.
She's going hot and fast, man.
She's going hot and fast.
No one can do that by themselves.
I mean, I have a driver's license, but I still need my dad to take me.
Right.
Oh, for sure. 100%.
Yes. Yeah. You need supporting help, especially when you cook hot and fast. Everything comes off at the same time.
That's the worst part. Like, I don't know anyone. I would love to meet someone who does hot and fast by themselves. I need to learn. That guy's probably been doing it for 45 years though.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that hard. I can normally do it without my dad, but it's sometimes good to have help.
Right. So is your dad set up at these events next to you as well, cooking side by side? Is that how it's going down?
This was at the Lindsay comp is when him and Brandon were right next to me.
Okay.
And I beat him. He got 9th and I got 5th.
You're not going to let that one down, are you? Ride that
Nope.
Well, would you beat someone like, I beat, Anthony? You kind of want to talk about that, Any chance you get, you want to bring it up and talk about it.
Yeah. If you've seen on one of the news reports where me and my dad were together in one of them, he had said that whenever we go to pro competitions, that I've always reminded everyone that I have a grand champion and he doesn't.
That's kind of like me, Rusty. I have a grand champion. How many do you have?
To be honest, though, if my daughter was to say that, I'd be like, heck yes, she does. Right. That's awesome. But
I had to take a shot at Rusty there because I know.
It's okay. Take your shots while you can, son. Take your shots while you can. You're not going to be able to after a while.
Hey, now we'll see.
So, talk about that for a second. You've been on the news. At that comp, a couple people would talk to, she's 16. That's so cool. Whatever.
Yeah.
You're on this podcast, and we're huge. I'm just kidding. We're not. But what's that been like for you to kind of not only come into to the scene, but then get a lot of attention? How's that been?
Well, I first went on the news when Brandon had asked me if he wanted me to go to one of his interviews that he was having. And I went. His friend had come and picked me up and took me there. And they talked to me a little bit. And it was just an exciting experience to be able to be on the news and get some attention. But when they did decide to do one on just me and my dad, it was it's crazy having all the attention, and sometimes it's not always good, but it depends on what attention it is.
Yeah. Do you find that sometimes people kind of go, oh, she's just a 16-year-old girl? Like, meh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I guess in KCB, like you don't know who's. That's what's awesome. Like,
yeah, but that's the thing.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's what I really like about competition barbecue is it doesn't matter where you are from, who you are, anything. Once it's in the box, nobody knows who you are anymore. Mm-hmm. It's on complete anonymity. Yeah. So being on the news, all that fun stuff. What's like kind of how many comps do you plan on doing a year?
This year so far, I think I only have 4.
Okay, which ones are those by chance? Just curious.
In a couple weeks, I'm doing Hollister, and then I'm doing Santa Anita, the guinea pig, and another competition. I can't remember its name.
So they're all California comps.
Yeah, that's normally where we try and stay is in California, but there have been a few times where we've gone out of state, like whenever we went to the Arizona one. Nice.
So what's the competition scene like in California? Because I know here in Utah, we're really we're kind of a small family. Mm-hmm. We get together, talk trash, enjoy each other, and get excited when each other wins. What's it like out there in California?
Well, we have a lot of the big competitors that live here. So a lot of competitions that I have gone to or that my dad has gone to is consisting of just the highest teams that we know. And we're like how you guys said, we talk trash, go and cook, have a good time. And then whenever one of us wins or gets an award, then we all cheer each other on. We'll high five each other. It's just, it's all like, you have to be a good sport. Because there have been a few times where I've been with my dad and there are people that haven't been good sports.
Yeah, I know a few people like that. Yeah, I do too as well.
It's hard though, you know, when you put your best cooking. I'm not. Yeah. I'm like, whatever. But
yeah. No, you're not.
I am too. I'm a great sport.
And then in your mind, it's just exploding.
When Crooked Pigs won GC in Colorado, I literally jumped out of my seat and that's standing awesome. Ovation. Yeah. I loved it. I was so excited. Even though I hate them.
Exactly. See what I mean?
I really hate those guys. Yeah, I'm just kidding. No. Yeah. You guys know I love them.
Yep.
But they're the worst. Just so you know.
Yeah, but you got them on chicken this time.
Did I? I did.
Yeah.
We did.
And we both got R&R. Sorry, Rod.
Yeah. Sorry, Rod. No, I didn't get Rod on chicken.
You didn't get Rod on chicken?
No, we lost by 0.4 of a point.
Oh.
That sucked. All I wanted at that St. George comp was to be R&R. That's it.
In chicken. That's it. Yeah, that was it.
That's all.
Yeah. Well, we got him.
So tell me, what was it like cooking with your dad, and what did he do to really kind of bring you into the fold? What was that one moment where you're like, man, this is what I want to do? Like, you run boxes, you did all that stuff, but what made you think? I mean, first of all, when you first started, when did you first start cooking over fire?
Like, are you talking in barbecue sense or
just in general? Like, when did all of a sudden you're like, you know what, I want to cook? Because my daughter now, she's 5 and she makes sandwiches, and that's about where I was. So when did you like, oh man, I want to cook food? You know, this is great. Just in general.
Well, when I was in 2nd grade, I was about 6 years old, and we had like this cooking thing happening in our class, and we were decorating stuff and baking stuff, because our teacher had brought a small crock pot, and she had like nacho cheese going in there. So each of us would take turns stirring it after each time. And we even got a whole apron and some plastic gloves. And that day when I got home from school, my dad was cooking dinner, and I asked him if I could help. Because I had my plastic mitts on, I had my apron on. He's like, you're going to have to take those plastic mitts off. they're going to melt. But that's really when I started cooking over a fire. And then I just kept cooking and cooking. And then when we moved to California, like Bakersfield, my dad started getting into barbecue. And I went and helped him. And it turned into me wanting to do it.
Nice. So, as you're cooking, and obviously on the professional side, are you like ourselves watching a ton of YouTube videos and trying new recipes all the time currently?
Well, I don't necessarily watch YouTube videos on what necessarily I can try and do, but I have gone and helped other teams. They've given me some background information on what I need to know, what I can do, and different things. I've helped Simply Marvelous. I've helped Few Man Q Crew, and it's just, they have different styles, and it's just crazy how many different techniques that every team has.
Definitely.
That's better to do it in person anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Like take the opportunity to cook with another team when it comes up. You learn, like we said, like with our classes, pick up one nugget and it counts.
See, I couldn't do that when I was first starting. It was hard for me to find people, but then I didn't really ask, and I don't know. It's intimidating.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm always like, if anyone out there ever wants to cook with us, and I know Anthony's the same way, just like, yo.
Yeah,
ask. Come on, help us. You might run garbages and stuff, but hey, we'll teach you a bunch of techniques and stuff you need to know.
Rusty will teach you how to kiss babies and shake hands. He's amazing at that.
If you guys want to actually learn something, you're gonna have to talk to my team, because I'm out socializing.
Yes,
sometimes it's been weird. The past few comps have been big ones, and I'm just like,
And Rusty's actually been in the trenches, like legitly. I go over there. He has his apron on.
Yeah,
everything.
Gloves.
Yeah.
I actually touched the probe.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
I am Salt City Barbecue. Those are the two imposters. So then how did barbecue come around? Just because your dad got into it and you're like, heck yeah, that's what I want to do? Like, that's how I started.
Yeah.
My dad, we'd barbecue, we'd hunt, and then we'd smoke stuff with this old electric smoker in the back. And when I was a little kid, we'd smoke stuff. And it was my favorite time. We'd smoke venison, we'd smoke chicken, smoke all that stuff. And that's where that came from for me. Is that the same for you, Haley? It's kind of like, you're just around it and you're just like, this is cool. I want to cook, and this is a competitive sport. Is that kind of where it took off for you? Where it kind of clicked?
Yeah. Yeah. Just going with my dad and doing different things with the whole barbecue. And we would cook at home all the time. And then I just would watch him do it. And then as we got into it, he learned more techniques and what to do. So I just followed in his footsteps, I guess.
So what are some of your personal goals for barbecue, and what do you want to do with it? Where do you see yourself going with it?
Well, I'm hoping to get GC at some point, or get Rookie of the Year, so I can. But if I got GC, I would be able to go to the American Royal, which is where tons of teams have been and gone. So I want to try and get to somewhere I can.
And even if that takes you till you're 90 years old, is that something you're like, I'm going to be a competition barbecue forever?
No, not forever, but I'll have it as a hobby for a couple years.
There you go. You never know.
Yeah.
GC would be awesome. So how's Rookie of the Year going in California? So you're going for the California Association, right? For Rookie of the Year?
Yeah.
And are you up against stiff competition, or is it kind of just you're hoping that these comps will be enough?
Well, I'm hoping that these comps will be enough. I don't know about who I have for competition, but I know Son of Smoke went for Rookie of the Year when he was my age, and he got it, and now he's competing, and he's one of the top teams in the U.S. So.
Oh, nice. We went for Rookie of the Year for the Rocky Mountain Barbecue Association, and we thought we had it in the bag. We traveled all the way to Montana.
You tripped right at the finish line.
I know. Well, I didn't know. So they emailed me like, you got 34 points. That's it. All you have to do is come and turn in a box. Like, even if there's nothing in it, like, as long as you're not disqualified, you win. And I'm like, I can't. So we're like one comp away from Rookie of the Year last year.
Yeah.
So be careful, Haley.
So Haley, obviously you're competing on the KCBS side. Do you foresee yourself like jumping over to SEA or any other style competitions, cooking competitions?
It all depends on what's available and what's there, but I think I'm gonna stick to KCBS from for now.
Nice. And obviously, like, you are 16 and you have school, so scheduling competitions is a little bit more difficult than us adults as well.
Right. Well, no, so it's exactly the same. People, I don't have that problem but most people do.
Yeah.
So what advice would you give a younger person getting into barbecue? Like, I know it's kind of an intimidating game, first of all. Second of all, just getting all the equipment and stuff. What would you say to someone who comes to you that's younger and says, I want to get into barbecue? Like, what would you tell them?
That they should try I would try and teach them some things that I know, but they would have to go out and try their own thing. They need to make sure that they have everything under control, have all the right steps to get to where they want to be. So if they wanted to get their chicken to look like mine or to look a lot better than what they have cooked, then they need to try different techniques, maybe go and ask around. You could always go to different barbecue restaurants and try their things and ask them how they've done it. Just try your best. It doesn't always work out, but a lot of people, I've seen a couple of new teams that have come in, and I've tried some of their food because my dad says I have the best palate apparently, but I've tried their food and not every time it's good, but if you just try and get to where you want to be, then you can achieve your goals.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So talk to us a little bit about what you use. Who's some shout outs maybe you have. You've talked a little bit about your cookers, talked a little bit about your charcoal. Who else would you like to just give a shout out to that has helped you along the way, or some product that you use that you really enjoy?
Well, Pork Chop and Bubba's has helped me with getting meat and stuff. And Jealous Devil has sent me some charcoal to use. My another team that I was talking about was not into it, but it's cute. He's given me a Yeti to use.
Wow, nice.
And Sharp Gourmet Cooking Wood has given me some wood to use for my cookers. And I've just Simply Marvelous has given me some of his rubs. At one of my backyard competitions, it was like a charity event kind of, where you brought things to give out, and I asked Simply Marvelous if he could send me some rubs for that competition, and was able to get them, and they were happy that they could receive those seasonings for their charity event.
Yeah, we use Simply Marvelous on our ribs, I think. Yeah, we use the apple. It's super good.
Right.
I love that stuff. I use it. Actually, have all of it. I have the cherry. I have the pepper. I have all that at home. I use it on lots of things, especially like wings. That cherries on wings is so good.
So, what is your number one tool in your arsenal? Obviously, smokers and all that is big, but do you have a special tool that you must have at every single competition?
I have to have gloves and disposable cutting boards and trays.
Yes, agreed 100% on that.
Disposable cutting gloves, man. Or disposable cutting gloves.
That'd be awesome, actually.
It's weird. Oh, that's weird. Yeah. Disposable cutting boards. Those are the best. Oh, man.
Yeah, they are.
I took Smitty's class, and he was all about throwing everything away. Yeah. Everything's disposable. And I'm like 100% on board with that. That's the worst. All right. Well, Haley, where can people find you at?
They can find me in Bakersfield, California.
On social media.
Instagram. Yeah.
Oh, on social media.
Yeah. No, don't give out your address.
I would never do that. But you can find me on Instagram at Smokin Hot Babe BBQ and on Facebook at Smokin Hot Babe BBQ.
And upcoming a couple of competitions, you go by and say hi. Cool. It was really great talking to you. So thanks for coming on the podcast and chatting with us.
No problem. It was fun.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it.
Sweet.
Cool. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
All right. Bye.
Dude, at 16 years old, I was not even thinking about cooking. Not even thinking about it. I was more or less playing sports, and
that's the funny thing is I was a hardcore steak cook. I love cooks because steaks was my thing. I cooked steaks all the time. I had my own Weber kettle growing up, and I would always cook. I love cooking I used to, like I told Caitlin, that's a true story. When I was in like first grade, I would make cereals and stuff. And
I didn't get into barbecuing until I was about 25, like you said, where you took it serious. Yeah.
But I had to babysit my younger brother and sister at a really young age. Right. And so I had to cook for them all the time. And it's just something I remember my Uncle Butch, Texas, he'd come up, and my family's from Texas. Yeah. And so he'd come up and they were always cooking. So I was like, dude, I want to cook. And so I'd stand by him and learn how to cook what they were doing. And I was young. I learned to cook early. I loved it. My dad would grill. He would smoke. I learned how to do all those things at a really young age. And I don't know. I just never felt, I don't know. Then I grew up and moved to Salt Lake, and how are you supposed to cook on a really small apartment? So
right, exactly.
I just never did until now. I'm in open spaces. I can actually get something, and that's what I did. And the first thing I did was barbecue competition. So,
heck yeah, nice. So this is season 2. We have some cool guests lined up. Mm-hmm. It is going to be way far better than our last season. Trust me, people. The guests that we're going to be lining up are amazing.
Yeah, we'll be pushing the envelope a little bit more. We'll be doing different stuff. We'll be doing round tables coming up. We'll have a couple local guys coming in, half big hippies, crooked pigs, Jager Q, Pricey Lot. Maybe Jesse Johnson can stop by. Yeah. Whoever else wants out there, stop by, do a little round table on certain meats.
Yeah, if you want to get in on the round meats, just shoot us a message and we'll bring you in. And it's cool to always just have new people, new experiences.
So we'll talk about, like, we'll say brisket, and everyone kind of runs out the brisket tips, and that's what we'll focus on. Others is we got a little portable microphone, so we'll be going to comps, and we'll be talking to people at competitions, and then we'll continue on with all of our guests that we have for the competition. And sometimes we'll deviate from that depending on the situation.
And then with the YouTube video stuff like that too, I think we're gonna kind of try to make that a little bit better. We'll probably only record when we have actual guests in studio. A little bit easier on the back end. So be looking. YouTube's gonna be a little bit different. We're going to bring in a little bit different media on that too. So
yeah, this will be a longer season. We started midway through. This one will go all the way through to December. So we'll have a lot of keep going. So we'll start. And now that you're hearing this, you'll hear us on weekly for now until next December. So again, you guys can find us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, at the Pitmasters Podcast. Go to pitmasters.com, the pitmasterspodcast.com. There you go. That's where you'll find us on the interwebs. You can listen to us almost on all 40,000 podcast services. If not, let us know. We'll be going down to Stampede this week. Hopefully I'll get some audio for that, and we'll upload next week. We're looking to get that as our next episode, is kind of the run through and the interviews we have down there. And then there's a couple roundtables and a couple more guests. So stay tuned, guys. And thank you for all your support. And again, just spread the word. If you guys have any questions, concerns, issues with us, let us know. We'd love to address those for you and talk and help. And if you have a guest you want to hear, you want a subject you want to talk about, we love all the feedback. We have been getting some, and we have been listening to that. So it's been awesome.
Well, thanks, guys.
All right, guys. We will talk to you next week.